7500.
Welcome to Heaven on Earth, a sacred portal to visualizing, meditating, and co-creating our highest joys that usher in the Golden Age of Aquarius. I'm your host, Athena StarSeed.
Hi, this is Athena, and I have my gorgeous co-host, Kim Hix, all the way from Hawaii. Aloha, Kim.
Aloha, Athena.
It's so great to be back here on a Saturday. I had to call in today because I have a healing seminar with Dr. Sharon Forrest and Ron Holman, and they're doing a complete cellular mind-body alignment. So I have to actually be close to the seminar so I can just pop over after the show. So I'm just going to
can't wait to hear
do a little
about
opening.
That.
It's going to be exciting, yes. I'll do a little opening invocation, and then we can jump right in. So thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. If you like the show, please share it, and also tell your friends. So let's take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Drop away everything and allow the masters to come in. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light return to earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. Let the Christ consciousness return to earth. In the center where the will of God is known, let the center guide the little wills of men, the center which the masters know and serve, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. May the plan of love, light, and power restore heaven on earth. Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, Father Sky, and Mother Earth. From the point of light that connects us all, please be here in the sacred circle of light. Amen, and aloha, Kim.
Aloha, aloha, aloha.
How's it going over there in Hawaii?
Well, Pele's calming down quite a bit, so we've got our first real big respite from the flow of the lava. Of course, our friends are all scattered all over the place, but it's a good sign. It helps with the air and et cetera. I believe the planet's calming down a little bit, so it's very important. But we have big storm tracks sliding past us, and it's always both a blessing and a bit of a fear mongering. So we have to really enjoy and embrace nature in her multi-dimensional displays here. The hurricanes mostly bring great surf for the surfers, so it's wonderful in some ways.
Wow, yeah, it's really important in these times is to be in tune with Mother Nature. You know, like when the tsunami happened, they said that the elephants and a lot of the wildlife knew beforehand to go up to the mountains because they were in tune with nature and they could feel the weather patterns shifting. And I feel like we have gotten so detached from being one with Mother Nature that it's now her, you know, kind of like a dog shaking fleas off of her, that she's saying, hey, come on, we have to really get back into harmony.
Yeah, our relationship with the planet now requires a very open sensitivity to her, an appreciation of all that she does. And I was just recognizing the trees the other night and this incredible light that was drifting through, and I couldn't believe the personality structures that I was able to greet and meet in the forest. It was a thrilling event for me, and I've been out there many times, and it was like, wow, are we possibly going to be able to get to a true relationship with nature on individual personal basis? Yes, that would be very hopeful. Very good for heaven on earth.
You know, it reminds me of growing up watching a lot of the cartoons where the trees speak, from The Wizard of Oz, when, you know, Dorothy picked the apples without permission, and H.R. Puffin stuff, where he talked to the trees. And Kim, you had an experience where you were in nature and camping, and you had a message from the trees. Tell us about that.
I did. I'd just gotten back from the Bahamas, where I'd been working on a big show for almost a year. So I was healthy and strong, and I wanted to do a vision quest. And I did one up in the Sierras, and I'd said my prayers at the creek in the morning, and then began my journey. And the journey took me up to one of these gray granite domes. And from that dome, I could see all the other domes. And I could see the whole Sierra Cordillera behind me. It was massive and beautiful. And I stood there, and I just slowly spun around in the morning sun. And then I heard this incredible chattering going on. And I was like, what is going on? What? And I listened and listened, and I realized it was the entire forest in this chorus of conversation going on. It was buzzing with talk. And as I listened closely, it all shut down, and this enormous voice came in and said, hey, we are the trees. We are here, and we are the standing ones. We have stood for and toward the one for years and years and centuries. And we were there at the birthing grounds for humanity. And you bear our gifts in your bodies. And I was like, this was way out of body stuff for me. But I did appreciate it because it was this powerful sense of understanding and recognizing their care. They stand there in a state of prayer and consciousness, and they love their children, and they love the weather, and they love life, and they're just like us. There's hardly any difference except we move around. It was quite an experience.
Wow, that's really amazing, because I woke up this morning to this big, huge saw, and next door they are cutting down the most glorious tree in the front of this person's yard. And I walked out, and there was just like a pillar stump all the way up, like, 25 feet high, and all of her little arms and limbs were all cut off, and they're still out there, sawing. And it's so sad for me, because, like, I can feel those trees and their pain, and, like, what was that tree doing bothering anybody? No.
Yeah. Yeah, we had an event like that here. We have one of the more fabulous old trees in Kapiolani Park. I mean, a graceful beauty, an ancient beauty. And she rested a limb or two on some columns that had been put up to support her, and she was gnarled in the most gorgeous way. And I drove by the other day, and she was gone. Oh, she had the disease. And I was like, oh, help peel her. Don't destroy her, And anyway, it's just heartbreaking, our relationship to nature. And part of our need is to totally decommodify nature and quit looking at her as a resource for humanity to maintain dominion over. We must see her as an intimate partner in a symbiotic relationship with us and the entire planet.
Yeah, I think about Dr. Seuss and the Lorax when you talk about, you came back with this beautiful writing about I speak for the trees, and that you said that we're the walking trees. Yes.
We're the walk talkers. That was the gift, and that was what was agreed at the first fires of creation that were discussing creating humanity. And the trees offered up their roots, and they offered up the idea that they would sacrifice their bones into the fires of man to ignite his passion and consciousness. But we're supposed to, of course, be supportive of our origins and our sources. That we must do, Athena. We've got to get back to nature in a deep, beautiful, meaningful way. Everyone. I know all of our listeners, I know all you guys are totally in touch with that stuff, but now it's a super connect, a super blessing to really invite the wisdom into our hearts.
This is, as we talk about the show Heaven on Earth being at the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and we're already here, we're in the age of Aquarius, and, authors like Dr. Seuss, he was an American author, a cartoonist, a poet, an animator, a book publisher, but really, he was an activist, and he was awake. And when a certain amount of your consciousness expands beyond your own needs, to your community and your country and your continent and your environment and your planetary system, you receive more data, and you actually do communicate with leaves and trees and stones and mineral and animal. And I want to go into his name for a second. If you write down on a piece of paper, I don't know if you got a piece of paper next to you, Kim.
Yeah, I do.
Dr. Seuss. Write down Dr. Seuss, S-E-U-S-S, and look at that name for a second. and it's an anagram or whatever you call it, when they mix the words up a little bit. He doubles the S and he takes away the E. But if you put S-E-E-U-S, what do you spell?
See us.
Exactly. And what he was trying to say was, see us. See us in the trees. See us in the lorax. See us in the star-bellied sneetches. If you can see us in everything, a mineral, an animal, I'm a human, then we can, disarm ourselves. And because he was a political cartoonist, he wanted to show people that perspective of omnipresence, that God is in everything. And when I stared at his name and I was meditating on him, and I watched his whole biography, it's on Netflix if you guys want to catch it, Dr. Seuss, the story of who he was behind the man, you'll see that he wants us to see us.
This is a brilliant way to enter that world. He was a huge activist in my life of consciousness, because it was extremely personal. The Cat in the Hat and the mountain, the journey on the mountain. Today's your day. It just filled my heart wide open as a young person, and went on in my life as a fabulous metaphor for my spiritual unfoldment. Boy, and his artwork was exquisite, so imaginative, so creative, and just spilled out of his pen and his heart. But he was, at core, a consciousness activist at the youth level, at the early youth level. And this mesmerizing mantra-like poetry still sticks with people today. The green eggs and eggs I am, green ham and eggs I am, Sam. I can't even remember now, but it's just great stuff.
Yeah, green eggs and ham.
Yeah, green eggs and ham. It's a literary spiritual quest that is invaluable for raising children. I find it to be the best sort of biblical totem of relationship to your life that you can find around. Really great stuff.
Kim, when we met, I came into your living room in the Green Fire Temple, and you had one of your favorite Dr. Seuss books that you used to read to reverence. Do you remember the name of it?
I don't remember the name of it, but
it was The Places We Go, and in the back, it looked like the model for Burning Man. I knew somebody looked at the back of that book.
The Places We Go, yeah. It actually was. In fact, Burning Man was my absolute adult embodiment of the Dr. Seuss stories. I couldn't believe that going out on the playa was just as wacky, wonderful, and creative and spontaneous as anything I'd ever read in his books. And there it was in living color, which gave me a tremendous model of what heaven on earth looks like, when people are free to be conscious and creative and be who they are by self-defining themselves and self-expressing themselves, as opposed to wearing the suit that society gives us. It's our job to be awakened beyond that realm, way beyond that realm, into the greater depth of the entire universe. We're all mirrors of all other beings at the same time. And gratitude and appreciation is our path into heaven on earth. We've got to get busy. All right.
That's so absolutely true. It's so absolutely true for me, and this is one of the things I really love about you is, Kim, you can see beyond the illusions and into the wonder of the ordinary. And the ordinary doesn't open for everybody. You have to enter nature gently. So this is Athena StarSeed. That's our show music. That's our cue. So we're going to go to a commercial break. However, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how we're going to usher heaven and earth through our own God-conscious state by being the creators of our own life and author a better world, just like Dr. Seuss. So this is Kim Hix from Hawaii and Athena StarSeed, and we will be right back after these commercial messages on CRN Talk Radio. Please, if you like the show, please subscribe, share it, and keep tuning in. We appreciate you, and we'll see you. All right, blessings. We'll be right back.
You experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? News flash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante to see memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. The Art of the Great Masters in an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old, Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, the romance of Romeo and Juliet. Find our mystical Room of the Moon, and don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, and make all of our sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. Pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, all you can eat, just $21.95. And Angelo's and Vinci's has been named the best Italian restaurant in Orange County 2 years in a row, and our owner has been named Restaurateur of the Year. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 714-879-4022 or angelosandvinci's.com.
Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and we are back on CRN Talk Radio with a show called Heaven on Earth. And I have my lovely, gorgeous co-host, Kim Hix, all the way from Hawaii. And we are talking about awakened author and master cartoonist, Dr. Seuss. And we just went over the fact that if you really look at his name, it is pointing at see us, S-E-U-S-S. And when I was meditating one day, and I was watching his biography, I was like, what is it that this guy has lasted all this time? And when his poetry comes out, I am so tuned into my heart chakra. It's like a key code open, and I feel so joyful. And the childlike innocence returns immediately. Well, he kind of got hired to write books on sight words for elementary school children, and he put them all into these series of books. And he had, because he was a political cartoonist, on his heart chakra, peace. He wanted to get out the message of peace to the younger generations. And so he started with the elementary school kids by writing these really profound books. And like one of the quotes he said is, a person is a person no matter how small.
How poignant is that? And boy, that's looking both up and down the scales. As we always search for God, can we not find God in the finite aspect of all of the universe at the same time? I mean, what a beautiful introspective concept and a sensitivity to where we are in the scale of the cosmology. You know, beautiful. We're all spiritual beings, gnats and, little tiny droplets of sand on the beach. It's fantastic. I'm so thrilled. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you finish.
I just wanted to say what I learned something very special about nature was the sacredness of place. And I'd be stumbling around no matter where in nature, always with my Dr. Seuss heart intact, my childlike heart. And I would find a little place that would be a place. And for some reason in my psyche, immediately the entry to a group of trees, a little nestling sitting in a redwood ring, would seem like a house, a cathedral of creation and consciousness. And I'd nestle down in there. But I realized that humanity brings sacredness to place, and that a sacred place is a sacred nest. And in fact, that's why I have this idea that our planet is the sacred nesting ground of the soul. The entire soul permeates the universe in potential, and when it comes manifest, it wants to come manifest in such a beautiful, exquisite place as this nest. And so our job really here in bringing heaven on earth is to clean up the mess in the nest. And I could see the brooms marching out, a la Dr. Seuss style, with us having a cacophony of beautiful bird song and cleaning up the mess of our beautiful planet.
I think he did write a book about the nest, finding the perfect nest, and also it's so interesting. My first date with Reverence's daddy, I told him I wanted to watch Horton Hears a Who, and Horton Hears a Who. For him, he was like, "Why are we watching a child's movie?" And I was like, "No, you have to get into this." And I was like, "They're talking about quantum physics. They're talking about God consciousness. They're talking about nanotechnology and outer space. Like, can you understand that if you look at this concept from a witnessing point of view, that, like, Horton can represent, like, humanity. And then on the microcosm, like, there's a little world in there. And on the macrocosm, how do you know there's not a larger being and we're on the head of a pin? I mean, it just really, it's I don't know. What do you think about that?
When you float up and down the patterning like that, and we realize we are truly scaleless beings, just because we can see the stars doesn't mean that they're 14 billion years away, but actually we are expanded to touching them. It shouldn't make you small, it makes you big. And then you shrink down to an atomic cellular structure, as I do with my body, and have to pay attention to the macrophages floating up and down my bloodstream and doing the good work that I need and the healthy part of me. So I see the whole universe reflected like that. It's truly the fractaling paradigm out of the quantum soup, that these fractals burble up at all scales, and we can run up and down the scales through consciousness. And that's one of the great magic blessings of humanity. I deal with it all the time as a designer. What scale are we in? What position are we in relative to the universe?
And then how to be in harmony with those scales. And I think that's beautiful, because a scale can be a harmonic scale with music, and a scale can be a scale with the material model. So this is Athena StarSeed and Kim Hix. We're going to go to another commercial break, and then we'll be right back with the show Heaven on Earth, creating new paradigms, expanding your consciousness and your horizons. Each show, we take the listeners through an expansion of their own paradigm. So if you like the show, please subscribe, please share it, and please get connected to us if you'd like to be a guest on the show Heaven on Earth. We'll be right back.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Seekers of luscious and appetizing gustatorial pursuits, indulge your fancies with steaks so absolutely yum-yum. Vegetarians have forsaken kale and Pilates and never look back. Fish specialties so fresh and delicious and chosen by King Neptune himself, and relish Columbo's Italian family specialties so delectable you'll be yelling out, "Bravo, bravo!" And let's not forget Columbo's world-famous meatballs, and you've got to try their breakfast pizza. Oh, and jazz every night. Service that's friendly, not phoning, and at a price that'll keep you coming back. That's Columbo's, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, Manja.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212. The following ad contains shocking material. Listener discretion is advised. Is someone in your family playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette? Over 43,000 people die a year from drug overdose. 120 people a day. 5 people every hour. 1 person every 12 minutes. 88,000 people die every year from alcohol abuse. Over 240 people a day. 10 an hour. 1 person every 6 minutes. Somebody you know may be next. Learn how to help someone you love get away from the drugs, alcohol, and bad influences. With the FMLA, people can take a leave of absence from their job and still keep it. Call Quit Drugs 321 now at 800-378-3315, 800-378-3315, 800-378-3315. That's 800-378-3315.
Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and we are back on the show Heaven on Earth, and I am the host of the show, and I have my gorgeous co-host Kim Hix, all the way from Hawaii, and we were talking about the awakened author Dr. Seuss, and I wanted to go back to what Kim was saying about like looking at scales and models, and we were talking about how scales imitate music, but also mechanical models and material models, and I want to say Dr. Seuss, looking at humanity from a witnessing point of view and having an expanded consciousness, if you like, just really look at some of the books he wrote. If you think about the Star-Bellied Sneetches, Kim, that is about oneness with humanity. He's talking about segregation and the ones who have stars and the ones who don't. So that book points us in rhyme at, being equalized, that all humans on the planet are equal. And then the Lorax talks about oneness with the environment and saving the trees and being able to see from the point of view of nature and also of the environment. And then Horton Hears a Who talks about consciousness at a universal level, at a galactic level. That is like where the scales where we were, is where if you're in a larger aspect, if you're Horton and you're looking at the Who's, the little tiny people, then you have to say, how do we affect space? How does space affect us, our space brothers and sisters, and our ancestors from different star systems? So he was really covering everything from the personalities, which is, obviously the segregation with the star blaze niches, to the environment, which is the Lorax being one with the trees, and then Horton Hears a Who, which is being one with the universe.
Fabulous description of it, Athena, and I love tying it to the psyche and the consciousness of our greater collective wisdom. This is really how we need to learn, and in the rhyming was fantastic. It says, it was just so brilliant, all of his thinking. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There's no one alive who is youer than you, and you know you're in love when you can't fall asleep, because reality is finally better than your dreams. And that's what I think, exactly why I signed up for the consciousness of helping heaven on earth, is because I believe in the dream so much. I want to see it manifested among us all on this planet. And I believe we can really do a wonderful job of bringing it home. All in honor of Dr. Seuss and the great trees.
With the Horton Hears a Who, one of the main lines that stood out, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't have it in front of me, but when the kangaroo comes up and says, if you can't see it, if you can't hear it, if you can't touch it, then it absolutely doesn't exist. And if you're not amongst our opinion, then you should be taken out of the society. And then they try to kidnap Horton, and then she turns everybody against them. And he said, go beyond that. Just because you can't see it or hear it or feel it, you don't know that it doesn't exist, because these people do exist.
Yes. An awful lot exists way beyond the fringe of what the normal structure or knowledge structure of a society is. And that's all the individual probings. I mean, we're all star probes. We're all celestial beings, star-seeded energies that can connect with stars 14 billion years away. But think about the stars 14 billion years into the future. That's as important as looking back. Look to the future. His brilliance is just still shining in my heart. I just love the awakening rhyming structure and my childlike feeling of facing life, exhilarated as a small child. And I just was thrilled to have that kind of magic floating around in my heart, that all these beings and other creatures and characters were available to me to help enjoy my life.
Well, when I'm looking at okay, what is heaven on earth? And we were talking about being creative and opening our heart chakra. And I'm thinking, okay, where were we and where are we now? And now where are we going? So where were we? We look at Atlantis and we look at Lemuria. And that is a time when the human civilization did not have their wisdom at an equal standing point of their technology. And so the earth got flooded and everything got wiped out. Now, again, here we are. We have robots that can drive cars and planes by themselves. You go into a grocery store and you can check yourself out. And we have all of this advanced technology. And the golden age is being ushered back in. There are more awake souls right now on the planet than there's ever been collectively in history. We're talking about a golden age of enlightenment, an awakening globally, where every soul is starting to say, hey, maybe this isn't what I think it is. Let's go deeper. And so now, from the poetry of Dr. Seuss, knowing this golden age was coming, because a lot of the Hopis and a lot of the spiritual texts from all over prophesied the dawning of the age of Aquarius, where beings would go into 1,000 years of peace. And so if we learn as a child, because we were raised on Dr. Seuss, what does this poetry mean? How do we take it into our hearts and realize it and then actualize it and then take better care of our brothers and sisters, whatever color or race that they are? Take better care of our brothers and sisters, the trees that stand and the animals that are our brothers and sisters, the hawks and the eagles and the endangered species and our dolphins and our whales. And then also, too, looking at things from micronizing them and macronizing them to be able to say, hey, can we get along with our space brothers and sisters? Are we able to be our harmonious race so that when other civilizations land here, that we're not still programming that all ETs are bad and we're just going to shoot them out of the sky and we're this warring race of humanity?
There is hope in there, completely, Athena. Yeah, there's no reason for that. We can get to this context you're talking about. It's just, It's required of us. It's Dr. Seuss said, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's simply not. So someone like you, that's all of us, have to care a whole awful lot. So all the carers and all can gather around and we can hug trees and bring in a relevancy to the galactic consciousness that has never yet happened planetary-wide. We can usher in this golden age of Aquarius. There's no doubt in my mind that most of this is simply by redesign. And in our own time and in our own way, on the scales up and down, through heaven and hey, wherever we want to go, we will learn to play.
Yeah, I love Horton because when he's saying a person's a person no matter how small, when he's saying that, and he's saying it as an elephant, right? I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. This is him, as an author playing Horton going, hey, humanity, what is a person? A person is consciousness. This is what he's saying. Right. Consciousness is everywhere. And when we can give other life forms, other sentient beings, the respect and the homage and the honor and the reverence that they are to be considered our equals. And then we can get into homeostasis. Humans with our environment, just like when you have, like in our bodies, we have good and bad bacteria. All the bacteria is working in symphony and in harmony and in concert with our bodies. You know what I'm saying? And so when we have war in our body, that's what we call cancer. So when we have war on our planet, that's like a cancer on Mother Earth. And so these shows are to get our listeners and to invite our listeners to play a bigger game. Like, why are you born? What are your talents? How can your talents help us get back into homeostasis on this beautiful Mother Gaia? How can we play in a Garden of Eden? And how can we inspire each other to be the Dr. Seuss of our own life, to see us in everything? And this is a global and galactic view to just get outside of our own me, myself, and I needs and get into the we are us of the Dr. Seuss's message.
And we are us of the whole entire universe. The us context. I always loved your perceptions, Athena, of the me-ness, that we're all me's out here. And we appreciate that we're all me's. All the trees and the fish and the sea are all me's. Then we get down on our knees and get grateful and thankful and make friends out of all of this. I mean, it sounds like an impossible task in a societal context, but it's not at all. All we need to do is make friends with everyone and everything that's going on. And that is the blessing of heaven on earth. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you notice, obviously I have a 7-year-old, so I'm reading a lot of these books. Okay, so I'm in the mind of a 7-year-old, and I was in the mind of a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. They basically, I hit 40, and the universe said, it's time for you to become a mother and then regrow yourself from birth forward and redo whatever you needed to do that wasn't installed. And so I went back and re-looked at these very powerful, poignant messages. And what it does is all of the children's books are written to personify animals with human consciousness. So if you look at all these cartoons, they're animals talking to each other. and you're like, okay, it gives our children the consciousness that, wow, here's a mother dog and a father dog talking to each other. It might be a good idea not to eat dogs. You know what I'm saying? And so, to be in harmony with, the cat in the hat. Here's the protagonist character. Here's our narrator, the cat. The cat has a hat. The cat has feelings. The cat is interfacing with the cat's environment. Star-bellied Sneetches, that was a character that he made up. You know what I'm saying? And it was about getting out of judgment. And how often are we as humans judging ourselves, and we're judging other countries, and then we're judging others in general? There's this whole fear factor, the other, instead of, same, different, other, me.
Yeah. Same as is a much more universal context for weaving the tapestry of love and life that's being woven by us now. We can get to change the entire context of living and being, but we must open up the borders of our minds and our hearts fling them wide open to the true potentials of the quantum universe. That way we can bring in all the positive energy. I mean, our whole system has to be redesigned and reintended and repurposed above and beyond the socio-political dynamic structures of our particular time. We can get back to the transcendental business of being souls in a living web of starlight and starseeds all across the universe, and in our own bodies as well. Returning to the forest of dream is where we need. You know, John Lennon and his imagination, I mean, Dr. Seuss is the embodiment of that, and fired up my imagination. And I never wanted to answer questions because I just wanted to endlessly wonder about them. And that was my favorite thing about Dr. Seuss. He just makes me wonder, and imagine and imagine and imagine. So I think maybe that's our job, Athena, is fire up the imagination engines of humanity, a la Dr. Seuss style, with rhymes and avatars with guitars and bodhisattvas, and create the worldwide sing-along that we need to enjoy in order to transform and become a transcendental race on this planet, full and complete with all of our brothers and sisters everywhere.
You know, that's so beautiful, to be one with our brothers and sisters. You know, many of the listeners know that I'm an intuitive reader, and I do readings at the Mystic Journey bookstore in Abbot Kinney. And, you know, a lot of my clients come in with all kinds of different issues, okay, from breakup to loss of job to, you know, loss of a parent. And so I'm using my intuitive psychic skills to help them connect to these other scales, like you were talking about, how to talk to, you know, the past relative that passed over, how to communicate etherically when you're praying for another soul that maybe has a disease on the other side of the country, or how to connect with a loved one that they got separated from. So my job really is to point the client inward and upward so they can plug in to these ecstatic states, these higher levels of awareness. And we all have it innately in us. And what happens is, Kim, and you know this, is we get calcified with the reality, and we get wounded, and we build these shells or armors around ourselves, and we can't feel the godness inside to see the connection, the web of Mother Nature and the web of life. And so as an intuitive and a psychic, I want to inspire everyone to take the main message of Dr. Seuss and see us in everything. See us in our brothers and sisters. See us in the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the star beings. See us in humanity all across the board. And when we see ourselves in the other, we have no enemies. We are friends and beloveds of all of life.
We leap across all borders of space and time, and we'll find out we're just one love. There's only one space, there's only one time, there's only one heart, only one mind, and we're love all the time. This is achievable very soon by humanity, this state of being, because we just need this trust and openness to begin to allow the circulation of the universe to flow and return us to the homeostasis that we righteously want to participate in by sharing it with everybody. Let's get our oceans cleaned up. Let's do it. Let's change our ways so we can get right to it. Dr. Seuss.
So I want to sorry about that, Kim. I wanted to interject something to give our listeners something to contemplate as they're listening to the show, and then asking them to take deliberate action after each show. Like, try some of these concepts on. Get a Dr. Seuss book. Watch it on the YouTube. I mean, tune into what these wonders and these rhymes and these magic words can unfold. And you were talking earlier about rhyming. Shakespeare rhymes, he wrote in code. The Psalms in the Bible, Hafiz, Rumi, all of these other magical emissaries of higher waves of consciousness knew the heart chakra had rhymes, speaks to our soul. And so that's the beauty of this type of writing, is listening and speaking to our soul. And inside of everyone lies the Buddha, the Christ consciousness, and that awakened genius. That genie in the bottle is inside of you. This is Athena StarSeed and Kim Hix. This is a show called Heaven on Earth. If you like the show, please subscribe, tune in, And get a hold of us if you'd like to be a guest on our show. We believe in you, and we see us in you. Dr. Seuss, we love you. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Seekers of luscious and appetizing gustatorial pursuits, indulge your fancies with steaks so absolutely yum-yum, vegetarians have forsaken kale and Pilates and never look back. Fish specialties so fresh and delicious and chosen by King Neptune himself, and relish Columbo's Italian family specialties so delectable you'll be yelling out, bravo, bravo! And let's not forget Columbo's world-famous meatballs, and you've got to try their breakfast pizza. Oh, and jazz every night. Service that's friendly, not phoning, and at a price that'll keep you coming back. That's Columbo's, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, Manja.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hi, this is Athena StarSeed, and this is a show called Heaven on Earth. And I have my gorgeous co-host, Kim Hix, who's an Emmy Award-winning set designer on many different shows, but currently on Hawaii 5-0, building Heaven on Earth currently right here, right now. And we are summing up the show with Dr. Seuss, and I just wanted to share some brief things. Dr. Seuss wrote over 40 books, and a lot of them have been made into films. And he's actually had very, very famous quotes that have been studied by university classrooms. And basically, they have the power to change the world. Some of these quotes that I'm going to read for you right now have the power to change the world. So listen in and think about how this affects your life. Kids, you'll move mountains. The next quote is, and you will succeed. Yes, you will indeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. Oh, the things that you can find if you don't stay behind. And unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And here's another one. Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Oh, that's it. Oh. So put on who you are and who you want to be. Don't hide behind
you
the
have
tree.
Don't hide behind, what'd you say?
I said, be who you are and don't hide behind a tree. And put on who you are.
Yes. Yes. You have the brains in your head and you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose.
Yes. So we can go there.
Exactly. If you never did, you should. These things are fun, and fun is good. Think and wonder. Wonder and think. You are you. Now, isn't that pleasant? And I'll do one more. The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. And that's from your favorite book. That's the book that was on your coffee table when I lived up front.
Oh, fantastic. What a wrap-up. What a wonderful thing to take us back to our child heart, Athena. You did a beautiful job of anthropomorphizing our understandings of all beings and all nature at all scales today. I'm inspired to get back into my child heart and dream it all up again, right from scratch, and see how wonderful it all is. Thrilling interpretation, my dear. Love working with you.
Yeah. I love you, Kim. I love the way you continue to play at all your ages. And Dr. Seuss has just really been able to help me and you keep our childlike innocence alive. And it says from there to here and from here to there, funny things are everywhere. And it's about, like you said, finding the wonderment in life, changing our pessimistic attitude and our logical brain into the wonder house, the wonderment of the childlike wish maker. And when we return to that childlike innocence, these beautiful genius ideas and creative projects come out of our heart chakra, and that's how we heal our planet. That's how we live our heaven on earth. We want to inspire our audience to wake up to their inner genius and get that genie out of their bottle and start creating, writing their poetry, singing their songs, doing their art, having their enactments, doing like activism. It's so beautiful. So
all
Kim,
hands on
closing
deck.
Comments. We have 1 minute.
All hands on deck for this. This is the time of the transformation. We need all you creative, conscious avatars in action. So step out into your own comic stream of consciousness, but say hello to a tree the next time you walk by and listen to what she's got to say.
That's so beautiful. I love you, Kim. I love you, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss says, see us. We see you, Dr. Seuss, and we honor you from wherever you are, broadcasting back to all of our hearts. We love you, and your life was honored on our planet Mother Gaia. Thank you for incarnating. Blessings. This is Athena StarSeed and a show called Heaven on Earth. See you next week.